Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are going to fundamentally shift how you look at cybersecurity. You know, when we think about cyber attacks, we usually picture those cliché hooded hackers furiously typing away in some dark room trying to outsmart a massive firewall. But what if I told you the biggest threat isn't a piece of code at all? What if the real vulnerability is actually human psychology? Today, we are diving into the fascinating profile of victims within IT development teams to uncover exactly why our behavior is the ultimate target. Let's get right into it.
So moving right into Section 1, the human weakest link, cybersecurity's flaw.
This whole idea is captured perfectly in this simple equation. Cybersecurity equals technology plus people plus process. Think about it. We literally spend billions of dollars worldwide on the technology piece of this puzzle, right? We buy the absolute best firewalls, top-tier endpoint protection, the works. But here is the kicker. Security failures are rarely just technical anymore. Most successful attacks rely heavily on human interaction. You can have the best security tools locked down tight, but a single, careless user, they can bring the whole system down in a matter of seconds. We really can't talk about defense without deeply understanding the people actually using these systems.
Take a look at this quote from Cisco Systems. They hit the nail on the head, calling users the unwitting accomplices of cyber attacks. I really want to emphasize that word, unwitting. It's not like most people wake up and decide to intentionally sabotage their own organization. It's just that, well, we often unintentionally enable these attacks through our completely normal, mundane daily actions. It's just human nature, and it dramatically increases risk, which goes to show why security awareness is absolutely crucial. Like it or not, we are the enablers.
All right, on to Section 2, profiling high-value targets, and looking at exactly who is being targeted.
Now, you might be thinking attackers are mostly going after, say, the less tech-savvy folks in an office. But no way, that is incredibly inaccurate. Attackers are actually setting their sights on highly technical IT team members. We're talking developers, system admins, DevOps engineers, QA testers, and project managers. Why? Because hackers don't just brute force systems anymore. They go after the people holding the literal keys to the kingdom. These folks have high-privilege access to sensitive data, direct lines into source code, and total control over critical infrastructure.
When we break down these high-value targets, they usually fall into four main buckets. First up, unaware users. These are the folks who just haven't had the proper training. They literally don't know any better. Next, the negligent users. Now, these are the people who know the security policies, but maybe they find them super inconvenient, so they just ignore them. Then we've got insider threats, which could be malicious actors on the inside, or just a compromised account being completely puppeteered by an attacker. And finally, overprivileged users. People who just have way more system access than they actually need to do their jobs.
Moving to Section 3, the psychology of hacking and how these traits are exploited.
This all ties into a massive concept called social engineering. Now, social engineering attacks are wild because they completely bypass the tech and go straight for human psychology. Attackers play on basic human traits we all share: trust, curiosity, fear, or creating a huge sense of urgency. By using tactics like phishing or impersonation, they can trick even the smartest IT professionals into doing incredibly dangerous things: reusing passwords, clicking sketchy links, downloading weird files, or intentionally ignoring that annoying security update pop-up. The technology didn't fail here. The human was hacked.
Let's look at Section 4, the developer dilemma, focusing on this really critical group. Okay, so if an attacker compromises a developer or a DevOps engineer, honestly, it's pretty much game over. These are the people with direct access to source code and those CI/CD pipelines, the continuous integration and delivery systems. An attacker acting through a compromised developer account can secretly inject hidden backdoors or malicious libraries straight into a company's core product. Plus, DevOps engineers hold the keys to the cloud infrastructure and automation systems. If they get compromised, the attacker basically controls the entire system lifecycle of an organization.
So you're probably wondering, how do brilliant developers fall for this stuff? Well, it really boils down to a massive tug of war: speed versus security and functionality versus safety. Developers are under immense pressure: tight deadlines, demanding project managers, the constant push to just ship features rapidly. Because of that crunch, they're often forced, or at least they feel forced, to prioritize speed over security, just to get a feature working. Add in a little bit of overconfidence in their own tech skills, and boom, you've got the perfect storm for a careless mistake.
Let's bring this all together in Section 5, Anatomy of an Attack, looking at the step-by-step sequence.
Let's trace how a human-centric cyber attack actually plays out chronologically. It's incredibly methodical.
almost like a script. Step 1. The attacker carefully zeroes in on a target, maybe a DevOps engineer they scoped out on LinkedIn. Step 2. They start building trust, exploiting that curiosity or fear we talked about earlier. Step 3. Once that trust is locked in, they extract what they need. Credentials, access tokens, you name it. And finally, Step 4. They use those exact credentials to exploit the system. This life cycle is a step-by-step masterclass in weaponizing psychology to bypass millions of dollars in defensive tech.
To put this into perspective, imagine this real-world scenario. A busy developer gets this urgent-looking email claiming to be a critical GitHub update. Since they live and breathe GitHub every single day, the request seems completely normal. Operating under work pressure and prioritizing speed, the developer trusts the email, clicks the link, and downloads the tool. Instantly, malware is secretly running on their machine. The attacker didn't have to break through the firewall, the developer practically opened the front door and invited them right in.
And the fallout from these seemingly simple human errors? It's absolutely catastrophic. A single compromised developer account can lead straight to a massive data breach, spilling sensitive customer info everywhere. It can cause total system compromise, bringing internal operations to a grinding halt, which, of course, spirals into massive financial loss, not just from the immediate theft, but from the brutal regulatory fines and lawsuits that follow. And, maybe worst of all, it causes devastating reputation damage. Trust takes years to build in the digital age, and just seconds to completely lose.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something provocative to really chew on. Think about your own team, your organization, or even just your own daily habits. Who is truly more dangerous to your security posture? A highly skilled attacker sitting thousands of miles away trying to crack an encryption algorithm, or an untrained, overworked employee sitting right inside your network with administrative access? Because let me tell you, the attackers already know the answer. They aren't targeting your systems, they're targeting you. Thanks for joining me on this one, and stay secure out there.